you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hey folks, it's Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, there are ladies, things that makes official. Welcome to 16 years, 24 episodes of the Chris Voss. Good. In the end of August, we'll be going through, that's like a month from now, people, it's 2025, I should probably note, because we've been on YouTube for 20 years. People are going to be watching this video 10 years from going, what? But yeah, we'll be turning 25 and probably hit 2,500 episodes by then. Or not 25, we'll be hitting 17 and 2,500 episodes. And clearly I've already lost my mind, so that's taken care of as well. Refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. I'm having a mental breakdown, evidently. Go to goodreads.com. Yeah, refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives to help me avoid having a mental breakdown, which has already happened, evidently. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTok, and Facebook.com/Chris Voss. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today, an amazing young man on the show. We're going to be talking about his newest book that he has come out. He's an author of over 20 books. His newest book is called The Hole in Your Life, Grief and Bereavement by Bob Rich. He's also a doctor, PhD. We should make that notation as well. We're going to get into it with him. We're going to find out his story, how he's lived his life, and some of the lessons he's learned in his study, and how he can also help us live our lives better. So the book honors his his daughter, who passed in December of 2024, and he is a professional grandfather. We'll find out what that means. I do professional grandfather work, but it's an OnlyFans. Anyway, I'm just kidding, people. Don't Google that. Job specification is to work for to work for a tomorrow for today's youngsters, and a tomorrow worth living in, ruled by empathy, decency, cooperation, instead of greed, hate, and conflict. Boy, we need more of that in the world today, don't we? Welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Well, don't feel a day over 100. I'm pretty good.
Well, you're holding up for 100.
A couple of days ago, I went for a power walk and overdid it a bit, so I'm stiff in a few places, but otherwise okay. And I'm rearing to go. And I'm going to have some fun with you.
There we go. This is what we love on the guest show, the Raring to Go podcast and having fun. So give us any .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs to get to know you better?
My blog is bobbing around. If you do a search for Dr. Bob Rich bobbing around, I'll pop up right up the top.
There you go.
But I can give you the link, but that's easier.
Sure. So give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside your new book?
As you said, my dear daughter died in December.
I'm sorry.
No, wait. Oh, no. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I actually removed the thing. Just a moment. I thought I inactivated it, but this was my dear friend Murphy.
Oh. Hello, Murphy.
If anything can possibly go wrong, it already has.
Well, we got it out of the way then, don't we?
And anyway, let me tell you this. When she made up her final will, she left most of her stuff to her brother and sister, then made bequests to various people, including her cat, to her mother, she left all her knitting yarn, and to me, she left all her chocolate.
Oh, the chocolate. Was it the Tim Tams?
Oh, it was all sorts.
Any Tim Tams in there? I
Well,
love
this
those
was
Tim
December.
Tams.
Now it's July. I've just about finished the stock.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, before she died, she said, I'm going to turn your washing water purple. Now, we save our water because Australia is a pretty dry place. We use it on garden. And the first time we washed clothes, the water coming out was an iridescent bright pink. You know, like beetroot juice if you dilute it down enough?
Mm-hmm.
There was a white tablecloth in the wash, not a stain on it. Explain that away. She was having a joke.
Oh, okay.
One of her best friends is a TV addict. And she said to him, I'll switch your TV off when I'm over. When he went home from the memorial service, put on the TV, flicked off. He put on the TV, flicked off. Happened half a dozen times.
Well,
Okay?
yeah.
So that's the first reason that I process my grief almost immediately. Grief can be a terrible monster that rips into you and claws you to pieces, but it's possible to deal with it. And my book is a set of resources. They're all research-based. They've all been field tested by me, and I've used them for decades in my therapy. In fact, some of them my clients helped me to invent.
Now, when you say your therapy, what's your job title that you work at? I'm trying to establish that whether it's your personal therapy work that you're doing or whether it's therapy, people come to you and how you help other people.
I've retired 5 times from 5 different jobs, and counseling psychology is one of them.
Okay, that's where the PhD comes in, I guess, right?
So this was people coming to me thinking I would fix them, but I said, nah, nobody can fix you but yourself, so I empower them to fix themselves. And I can do that in writing just as well as sitting down face to face.
Okay, sounds good then. So tell us the title of the book, The Hole in Your Life, Grieve and Bereavement. What does that pertain to? I can kind of guess, but I think people like to hear your interpretation of that, why you chose that title.
The original title was If You've Lost a Loved One, How to Cope with Grief. But then I remembered I've had clients who lost a hated one and were still grieving. Like I had a lady who was a victim of domestic violence, and when the fella got killed in a drunken brawl, she cheered. But months down the track, she still missed him. So that has to be dealt with too. It still needs to be processed. And also, you can have a terrible hole in your life without having lost a beloved person. I know a man who had a successful business. He formed a partnership with 2 others, and they managed to turf him out. Legally, they didn't break any laws, but he lost his business, he lost his source of income, and he lost his self-identification as a successful businessman.
Really? Wow.
So the way to deal with that is exactly the same as if his wife had died. Different issue. I think in his case it was just as painful.
Yeah. And a lot of these things, I mean, loss and issues and different things also, have create these issues of feelings and everything else. So was this kind of a way to help you process the loss of your daughter and then, of course, help others process that grief and how to heal from it, I guess?
Yeah, well, one of the rules of our universe is the more you give, the more you get. And the more you give, the more you grow. And we are here to grow. Every sentient being is an apprentice Jesus, apprentice Buddha. Our job here is to progress in spiritual development until we get there. And so the way to do it, how do you learn a new skill? You become an apprentice. And so an apprentice Buddha will act as if enlightened. And you can't do it, you can't keep it up, but that's the way to learn. So I'm doing my best to act as if I were enlightened by doing my best to be of service. The Dalai Lama said, the aim of enlightenment is to be of service. My religion is kindness. So wacko, there's my model.
Yeah.
Anyway, by the time the memorial service was held for my daughter, I was well through my grief. I mean, I'll miss her for the rest of my life, however long that may be, but the terrible pain of grief is not there. I can joke, I can get on with life, and the book describes how I did it. It's only a little book, but it's twined around two stories. One is how I managed to process my grief for my daughter, and the other one is based on a young couple who both bitterly blamed each other for the terrible death of their little tiny toddler son. And they came to me separately, referred by two different doctors, and I saw each of them separately for 9 sessions, and then 3 sessions together. And so I traced their progress through. And we all 3 of us knew that they were okay when in their 12th session, the way they met was through ballroom dancing. They were competitive ballroom dancers. And I said to them in the 12th session, tomorrow, Saturday, go dancing. And said, oh, I can't. I said, yes, you can. Go and do it. Monday morning, they rang me up saying, we're cancelling the next session. We don't need it anyway. Anymore. And that dancing session also reunited them as husband and wife. The lady was blushing over the phone as she told me. But so this is why having fun, enjoyment, is an essential part of resolving grief.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because one of the things that I've always hated about grief is going through all those stages. And I hate that process because, you have to do the process, right? And so I've just never been a fan of it because, usually I'm experiencing my dogs passing away. And when my dogs pass away, I know that I've got to go through the stages of grief, right? I don't really have an option on it. I'm just going to have to deal with it and go through with it. But, I know that the process of the 8 stages, has to take place, and it takes time, which I really hate, but I understand why it's there. Is there any way to bypass that? I mean, or do I need to just work through the 8 stages and that's how life works?
Right, I've got 3 comments. First is, yes, losing a beloved animal is just as serious an issue as losing a beloved person. So that's fair enough. The second one is, I don't go for stages. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross proposed a very flexible and subtle theory, which then got completely transformed by common lack of wisdom. And she repudiated the everyday view of it. Rather than stages, I go with another Elizabeth Harper-Neild, whose book is called 7 Choices. And there are a number of choice points, and each time if you make the right choice, you progress, but you can go backwards and forwards. And my book uses her theoretical model, illustrated by case studies from my clients, and a bit of fun. But so, no, there are no stages. Acceptance, you can have acceptance immediately. You can have anger at, say, the passing of a young person years after you've resolved your grief. It's all over the place. It's not time sequence. It's the way you deal with things at any one time, and it's a yo-yo. You go up and down. But the third thing is the only way to deal with anything is to go through it. So you were correct in that one. Never mind how much you dislike it. The only way is through. One of the problems, some people use antidepressants or anti-anxiety drugs, or even worse, addictive substances like alcohol, to hide from the grief, and it doesn't work. It just sits in a box and waits to bite you in the bum when you least expect it. And then besides, then all the avoidance things that you tried to use are an extra negative. But one of the reasons I could deal with anything is the concept of equanimity or acceptance. It's a Buddhist term, but it's also in the Old Testament, the Torah. It's in the Bible. It's in the Quran. It's in all the wisdoms, which is simply whatever is, and I accept it. And it's quite a complex thing to explain, and it's a difficult thing to do at first, but once you've practiced it, it's very easy. I have used it to handle very severe chronic pain for years.
Really?
And I functioned fine. And I had painkillers with me and usually didn't bother to take them.
So you use the techniques that are in your book. So in your book, you help people process these things. I mean, to me, actually, even though I'm not a fan of the stages of grief and going through that process of letting things go, recognizing that that's the process you're going to go through kind of helps, and I think that's the same thing your book kind of does. It acknowledges that, hey, there is going to be grief. There are going to be times there's a hole in your life, and here's the tools and blueprints that you can take and utilize to make it work for you. Does that sound about right as an assessment?
Oh, that's approximately perfect.
Yeah. Well, that's why I have a show. Or not. Anyway, so what else in the book do you want to tease out to people that maybe we haven't touched on, or maybe you think is applicable to what people need there? Okay.
One of the things is resilience, bouncing backness. Basically, I'm a pogo stick. The harder the world jumps on me, the higher I bounce. Okay? Now, it's partly genetic. I mean, my mother was amazing. She was the most resilient person I know. Survived the unsurvivable more than once and accomplished the impossible more than once, including building a $1 million business behind the Iron Curtain in colony of Russia, of the Soviet Union. And the book, my book that has won the most awards is her biography. Not because she's my mother, but because she was amazing. But also I've inherited that. But also there are 7 activities that make you more resilient, that increase and protect your resilience. And when you are under stress, when you suffer, including grieving, but whatever, it's those 7 things that you tend to drop out of your life. And so these are very important. And in fact, when you check out my book at my blog, there will be a link to these first aid measures, the 7 magic bullets.
7 magic bullets.
The 2 most important for reducing the suffering is creativity and fun.
Creativity and fun. So tell us kind of about your journey through life. How did you become a psychiatrist? What got you into these fields? I'm sorry.
All right. Okay, psychologist. Very big difference.
Oh, go ahead and correct me for what the proper title is, I guess. But
doesn't matter.
how did you get into the field you in? When did you start writing? What motivated you want to start writing? What was the, how did you know you were good at it? We have a lot of aspiring authors that listen on the show.
Okay, well, that's several questions. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a physicist because I wanted to benefit humankind. I arrived at university, and in those ancient days, nuclear was physics. And it horrified me. It horrifies me to the present day. The only safe nuclear reactor is 8 light minutes away.
Wow.
You know that big yellow ball up there?
Yeah, the sun one?
That's the one.
All right.
First year science had physics, chemistry, mathematics, and one other science. And thanks to the inspiration of a high school teacher I had, I chose psychology as my 4th subject. So when I got disgusted with physics, I switched to psychology.
All right.
And
what was it that drew you to that? Like, why? What was the point there you made that changeover?
Mr. Woods, this teacher, who got me on a debating team, I spoke with an accent, and I said, I can't do debating, I speak with an accent. He said, you speak with an accent and you can do debating. And I was the whip, and we came second in a statewide competition, beaten by a private girls' school. And the way that happened was this gorgeous blonde came up to me, batting her eyelashes, and gave me her phone number. So my head was filled with pink cotton wool, and I couldn't do my job as whip, and so we came second. But this teacher used to fascinate us with stories about his university days, including his psychology studies. And so he was one of my guides, I didn't know it at the time, who shoved me in the direction I needed to go.
And so, so hence you end up that way, right?
Yeah. And then I'm cursed with too much empathy. And so I didn't go in for therapy, went in for research. And then later on in life, I trained as a nurse, and that toughened me up. One of the lessons in nursing is it's not your pain. You're not there to share it, but to relieve it. And in psychotherapy, it's even one better. You're not even there to relieve it, but to empower your client to relieve it. So the only person who can fix you is yourself.
Yeah, that is very.
So then I went back to university and did extra qualification in counseling psychology, and there it was. Anyway, you asked me about how did I start writing.
Yeah.
I was building my own house from what we call mud bricks and you call adobe. And I was it was winter, so I was wearing rubber boots and happily stomping away in the mud when a bunch of teenagers descended on me and kidnapped me. They were having a soccer game, boys versus girls, and they were short of one male. So didn't bother taking my boots off, slipped on the mud, and tore a cartilage in my knee. Let me tell you, that's not a good idea.
That's not a good idea.
So in hospital, I borrowed the office typewriter. That's how long ago it was. And I wrote an article about a new way of making mud bricks, adobe bricks, for a marvelous magazine that's now died of old age. But I had a byline after this article, after they accepted this, I had a byline column with them from 1980 until 2020, 22, something like that, when they stopped publication. And so that was my entry to writing. And my words took flight, and I built up quite an audience. And after 6 years, I wrote to the publisher saying, why don't you and I write a book together about own a building? And I checked my mail, and there was a letter from him with the same suggestion. So we wrote a book called it was Earth Garden magazine. So the Earth Garden building book, how to design and build your own house.
Oh.
And it got grabbed by a publisher, which was then taken over by Penguin. So it was by Penguin Australia. It went through 4 editions and sold hundreds of thousands of books in the tiny Australian market. And when my younger daughter went woofing around the country, you know what woofing is? Willing workers on organic farms.
Okay.
Marvelous organization. She and a friend went around Australia, and about 80% of her hosts had my book on their shelves.
Oh, wonderful.
So that was my first book. Then the second one was Woodworking for Idiots Like Me. Because you see, I'm the most impractical, I used to be the most impractical person on this planet. My stepfather's assessment was if something can be done the wrong way, or even if it can't, he'll do it that way first. And that's true to the present day. I'm a genius at misreading instructions and doing them the wrong way. Every time I assemble something, I have some spare parts left over. But
isn't that funny how that always works?
When I was 21, I discovered, yeah, sure, it's true. But if someone else can do it, I can learn it. And I was about 43 when I discovered there's no such thing as a mistake, fault, or defect. There are only learning opportunities. And that was when I didn't just control my depression, I cured my depression.
Oh.
My previous 2 books before this one is From Depression to Contentment, a self-therapy guide, and then it has a companion volume, but that's the important one. And that describes how I went from suffering, chronic suffering, to normal, which is the walking wounded, and from that up to completely unaffected by anything the world cares to throw at me.
Bring it on, world.
Yeah. Like I said, pogo stick, that's me.
Pogo stick. I like the concept there. And bounce back.
Anyway, so that's how my writing started, in a hospital bed.
Well, sometimes what is that? Necessity meets opportunity, or opportunity meets necessity. Sometimes is the best format to make it all work.
Anyway, next question.
So, what else do you do on your? Do you have any other offerings that you offer on your website? Any consulting? Any advisory? Could people tell a call with you for telehelp and medical advice? Do they need to be local? Tell us how all that works for you.
I have retired. I do pro bono work that is free. I have posted responses to calls of despair on public venues, and people have tracked me down as a result. And every now and then somewhere between 10 and a dozen a year, somebody new who will send me an email, something like, I found condoms in my husband's pockets and we don't use them.
Yeah.
Or
that's why there's condoms in your husband's pockets.
Or give me one reason why I shouldn't murder everybody in my school.
Oh, geez, that's not the call. That's definitely an immediate. Let's get some help on that one, right?
Or when I was 12, I sexually abused a younger child. Just tell me, before I kill myself, should I go to the police first?
Wow.
All right, I get letters like this. All sorts of issues.
Wow.
Or, my parents hate me. I would run away, but I've got nowhere to go. How do I cope? Yeah?
Wow. That is
And
rough.
I've got the gift of healing words, and I can set them on the right path.
Yeah.
And many of them stay on for years. Just the other day, I got an email from a young man in America. He's 24 now. He was 16 when he contacted me. He was one of the ones I was thinking of. When he was 12, he sexually abused a couple of other kids.
Okay.
Now, he's using the tools he learned from me to help other people with depression or guilt or anxiety. He's not a therapist, but he's an amateur, but he's really good at it. And so he's one of my grandchildren. I've got hundreds and hundreds.
Is that what the professional grandfather meant when I was introducing that in the bio?
Mm-hmm.
Do they pay you for that, or you're just doing that out of love and good kindness and helping others?
Look, money often costs more than it's worth. I'm not that interested in money.
Money often costs more than it's worth.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah.
The problem is not money; it's greed. Greed is what's wrecking our world. This planet is in its 6th major extinction event, the next one since the dinosaurs. The difference is that this one is progressing. It was a matter of 250, 300 years instead of thousands of years, and it's caused by humans, and it's because of greed. These terrible wars that we're having in the Middle East, in the Ukraine, and there are 120 armed conflicts currently progressing. They're all due to greed.
Yeah. Greed, people. It's interesting, human nature.
So,
we seem to never learn.
But one of the most important teachers in this life was my uncle. He had 2 aims in life: to screw as many women as he could, and to make as much money as he could, never mind who he trampled on. So early on, I decided to be a faithful husband and realize that, no, money is not important. Being of benefit is far more important. Anyway, at my blog, Bobbing Around, I have an essay, How to Change the World, and that sets out the logic.
Mm-hmm. And so you help people so they can reach out to you. Do you do any speaking? Do you do telemedicine where people can call you? Do you still do your practice there locally if people are curious about that?
No.
Okay.
As I said, I've retired. I'm actually not allowed to do that.
Okay. And once you're retired, you're retired.
In Australia, the word psychologist is registered, which means I can say I have a PhD in psychology and offered counseling psychology services. But if I were to say I am a retired psychologist with that ST on the end, I've broken the law.
Oh, well, we don't want to do that because that's bad. That can be bad. Let's. So as we round up the show, give people a final pitch out to reach out to you to find out more about your book and everything there in between.
You also asked about what else do I have at my blog. There are lots and lots of free short stories to read. Okay. I have a monthly column together with other bloggers on writing. So if you're interested in being a writer or want to, I have a monthly newsletter, and I'm a very active environmental and political activist. I want to make this world a better place.
Yeah, we need all the help we can get if you've seen us lately, right?
Too right, yeah.
Well, Bob, thank you very much for coming on the show. Give us any .coms where people can find you on the internet as we go out. Give us your .coms, Bob. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
Where's the chat?
Just call it out. Just what are your .coms so people can
okay. bobrich18.wordpress.com.
Mm-hmm. And there'll be a link on the Chris Voss Show as well. Order Bob's book wherever fine books are sold. The Hole in Your Life, Grief and Bereavement, out June 24th, 2025. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to Goodreads.com.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Anybody who sends me proof of purchase of any of my books gets a second book for free, an electronic book.
What a deal there.
And anybody who subscribes to my blog also is offered a free book. And I would think you might want 2 separate ones rather than one. And if you email me a review of a book, that's proof of purchase, unless I sent it to you for free.
Off we go. And thanks for my audience for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTokity, and Chris Voss Facebook.com. And that's where you can find all the cool stuff and all the great stuff there. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. And that should have us out.